Don't Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, the heavyweight match, the one that I didn't watch live, but I got around to it and glad I did. Anthony Joshua stops Alexander Povetkin round 7 with some whole bunch of flurries. He got him up out of there. Great fight, right? Now let's up front. Y'all know I am upset at Anthony Joshua and his team about the Deontay Wilder negotiations. I don't like how it went. I think some of the people that have done that are starting to become bad people. So here I will always be against bad people. People that don't care about other people, right? People that feel entitled. I don't like those type of things. I'm always against those type of things. Probably one of the reasons I'm not monetized here on YouTube. Because when I got started, I told some of you guys before, I'll say it again. One of my first videos was about the systematic child molestation in British football with 500 cases, over 500 cases from the Premier League on down. And I was just mentioning about these young boys being sodomized early in their lives. And I didn't like it, so I mentioned it. Well, I got a strike from YouTube and I just only had 10,000 views. Just starting. And they took 5,000, which means half of them, because I mentioned something like that. That would make me, right, have my antenna up. I ain't trying to be no member of nothing unless somebody has something against people trying to help society. That's how I roll, right? So if something is wrong, I will gravitate to it. My objection was not, objective was not to just talk boxing. No, now it's predominantly boxing. Why? Because there's so many things that are just wrong. Right? That is just not correct in the sport. And you see these corrupt things going on, you try to enlighten people. But we do know that we're living in a time where good people are in the minority by a long shot. Nobody likes good people, right? We're rolling with Satan right now. Told you about in Europe, all those license plates with 666 on them. People proud to be rolling with Satan now. So we understand that. Right, so I will make sure when it comes to Anthony Joshua's team, those negotiations with Deontay Wilder, I don't like it. I don't like someone feeling that more entitled or lying constantly instead of just saying at the beginning, like we've known what was going on. I do not want to fight Deontay Wilder now, and we're not doing it. We don't need to negotiate, right? And through me knowing what Anthony Joshua said himself a year and a half ago or longer, that he's not going to fight it. He'll probably fight him in 2019, 2021. You guys forgot the interview. Povetkin being on the undercard of his fight against Joseph Parker, fighting David Price. It just told me they're fighting David Price, Povetkin next. And he's fighting Dillian White after that, right? That's why I'm doing videos about, hey, here's Luis Ortiz. No one's saying nothing about him. But I know what time it is, and I get everything right, only because they're telling us what it is. If you're blind, you're not paying attention to what they're saying. So, having said all that, so everybody can understand up front, right away, I'm not the biggest Joshua fan anymore. I was. But because of that, I don't like it. Right? So that's got to be clear. I'm not going to ever back off from that. Because it's wrong, damn it. Period. So I'm on the side of what's good. I'm a proud good guy. Right? I'm not one of the guys that, I'd rather be bad. Bad is sexy. No, I know. I'm a good guy, and if I'm not sexy, then I'm not sexy. Because I have to look at me. You understand? So I'm very grounded in that aspect. It won't be changing for anything, or YouTube or nothing else. Right? That's clear. Now, let's get to that fight. After I did come around and watch that fight, let me tell you, I think it was a great fight from both participants. Okay? Let me tell you. Great fight. I saw some things early. Now, let's just talk Povetkin for a minute. Okay, if Povetkin is off dope, right? 39 years old. When he had to weigh in, and he's weighed about 8 pounds or 10 pounds less than he's ever been, I knew what his tactic was going to be. I'm going to have my upper body movement together, and I'm going to try to get up in here and land that left hook over that overhand right. Do it before the fight. Said it to the casual fan I was watching with. He's trying that left hook, leaning in there, right? He's going to use his upper body movement to get in the inside, try to land that leaning left hook, or the overhand right. Those are his 2 punches. That's what he did in the fight. It was working for him early, and he was there to win this fight. There is no doubt about it. Alexander Povetkin, I had this fight even by the time of the knockout. Povetkin won those first rounds, and And, you could look at why. Joshua's nose was bleeding. Joshua was rocked a time or two, but that's not a surprise. He's always rocked, right? That's not a surprise. But he was not stalking Povetkin. Povetkin was doing the stalking here. This was like Canelo was against Golovkin in the second fight. But Povetkin was there to win this fight. He did a hell of a job. Only thing that I have to complain about, if there's anything when it comes to Povetkin here, would be that he probably should have, start telegraphing it. It was like, this is my plan, to throw the left hook or the overhand right and nothing else. Joshua adjusted, but we'll get to that. The thing is, if he probably would have just said, okay, I've done that, right? It's working. Let me take a round or two to just try to outbox, stay away from him, right? To lure him back in, to let him get comfortable. Keep doing the same thing repetitively, over and over. Joshua would adjust, or anyone would adjust. If they see that's what you land, I'm gonna put my earmuff up, bam, and on the other side too, bam, and then I'm gonna try to land my shots. Okay, so that was the only thing. But you saw that Povetkin was there to win that fight, and Povetkin did a good job. His stock raised, in my opinion. He did a good job at 39 years old to be doing what you're doing, coming to win. I thought Povetkin looked awesome. And and even though I've been on him about these doping issues, because I just don't see any remorse there. Him and his team, Ryabinski and them, they just don't have any remorse for your transgressions. If they would say I was sorry, I'll be fine with that. But when people don't, then that hurts me, right? Remember, good guy, right? So when you're a bad guy, then it is what it is. Done something like that, then damn it, let me hear sorry, especially if it happened twice, right? But taking all that away, the guy was awesome, right, in that fight. And that's how that is. Now, Anthony Joshua, even though Anthony Joshua was getting pieced up at the beginning of that fight, he wasn't looking good. He was behind, getting hit a lot, staggered, which he always does. I still was able to see right in the first 3 rounds, which he probably lost every one of them. But his forward and back, his movement, he's obviously working on his speed. He was able to move up and forward. His upper body moving back and forth was looking good. And even after being hurt, still leaving that left hand down, right, so he can throw that jab quick on a shorter fighter, right? And, trusting his upper body movement. Joshua was looking good and losing. But I saw things, I'm like, man, the dude is working. This guy is working on his speed. I'm seeing some stuff, trying to throw that quick jab and getting out of there, the quick jab getting up out of there. Those are things for people that are not weighing 250 pounds, right? Of course, excuse me, guys. And of course, unless you're Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury can do those things too, but Tyson Fury doesn't got the power to back it up like Anthony Joshua does. Anthony Joshua looked good, even losing before, right? Now, he was losing, but I was just thinking, after round 4, I think I even wrote it down. Round 4, I just wrote next to round 4, Josh was getting it together right here. Because that's when he starts seeing what this guy is going to do. And, he's playing for it and start landing his shots, right? Now, he was trying to jab the guy to the body and keep him off of him. But at the first few rounds, it wasn't working. After that, it was. And once he started getting this guy and being able to time him, knowing what he was going to do, read what his plan was, Joshua started looking great, right? I mean, not great, right? Because I think, like I said, it was an even fight to the short guy. You were able to get hit too much, right? To be honest with you. But he was able, once he got him hurt, what does Joshua do? He gets him out of there. And let me tell y'all something. Like I said in many videos about Anthony Joshua, he can smile all he wants. He can be even keeled all he wants. When Joshua gets hit and gets hurt, he turns into this lion. I've seen it in several fights. I mean, Dillian White fight is definitely obvious. Once Joshua says, come on, is that all you got? Once he says that, he turns into something else, and you're about to have a problem. Did it to Klitschko too. He told Klitschko, you better knock me out now. If not, I'm going to knock the hell out of you in a minute. Right? He does those things. And I saw him in the end of round 6 or early round 7 tell Povetkin, come on in here. He put his glove and told him, come on in here. That's when I told the casual fan I was looking with, Povetkin's in trouble right now. And after the fight ended, like a minute or two after he done that, people look at me like I'm an alien. You could just see. It's like, yeah. Somebody's in trouble now. When Joshua does that, you're in trouble, right? So Joshua looked good ending that fight. I mean, the guy Povetkin was a good challenger, right? We're just all upset about what happened with Deontay Wilder, but Povetkin still only been beat once, albeit, he was doped a lot. We know that. But, it just dope doesn't mean you didn't learn what you didn't learn. It just means you can do it maybe a little longer, your trainings, or you can do a little bit harder training and stuff like that. But it still means you learned what you learned, right? It doesn't do nothing with your brain. So, my man Povetkin is a formidable opponent. Ask everybody else he fought except for, Klitschko, right? He's a formidable opponent, and Joshua was able to get him out of there. So that's a good thing. I don't like how the fight happened, but I've got to say he handled his business. And for people that was at the fight, a little drama. I know that people, I don't know, like you guys know, I do these videos, I don't look at everything yet. I'm going to go and start looking at what's going on and what people are saying. But before I do videos, I don't got no time for that. Because I don't want to be sounding like nobody else, right? But I'm going to tell you, people got nervous. I am pretty sure people got nervous in that fight because it was like, whoa, this dude's down. He ain't look like he's, he ain't stalking Povetkin or nothing, right? But he done it. And that's what you gotta give him props for is his resiliency, his belief. He can be hurt, he can be stumbling, like he stumbled. I told you, he stumbled when he get out of bed. But who's gonna win at the end? What is he now? 22 with 21 knockouts, 22-0 with 21 knockouts, and that mentality is gonna take him forward, right? I'm not gonna get on to what is going on in the future on the April 13th because I told you 1,000 times. I'll be surprised if it's somebody else other than Dillian White, right? I would like it to be Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, right? I think that here's one thing I'm going to say. I don't want to get too negative, but I will say this. Looking at that fight explains why they're not in a rush to fight Deontay Wilder. The only thing that, you could say, well, his recuperative powers, right, could help him against Deontay Wilder. But if you're getting hit that much, and you get hit and you're stumbling around, Deontay finishes, right? And everyone knows it. And because they're the same length, he doesn't have to be leaning in to hit you with things. Not even a jab. You're the same size, the same arm length. So people understand that dynamic when these two fight. The only thing Joshua got on him, a little bit more technical ability, and I'm heavier, right? And here's another thing. I don't understand why you don't take 50 to 80 million to fight him with an uppercut that Anthony Joshua has. He didn't have to use it in that fight against Povetkin, but he has one. And a mean uppercut. That's the scenario I see against Deontay Wilder, to be honest with you. It's like, let me get inside. I'm talking about throw this uppercut on Deontay Wilder. And when I get Deontay Wilder hurt, I'm taking him out. Because I have killer instinct too. I'm taking that 80 million to fight Deontay Wilder twice. Easily if I'm Anthony Joshua. But when you see him stumbling, we do know David Price had him knocked out in sparring. We do know David Dubois had him knocked down in sparring. We do know Chamberlain had him knocked down in sparring. We see him stumbling against Povetkin or stumbling against down in fights against Klitschko and stuff like that. So I think all of that has made him understand, well, I'm not him yet. But I think, dude, as good as Anthony Joshua is, you should have took that. Because that fight against Deontay Wilder is I was going to say 50-50. I would say 60-40 for Deontay Wilder, only because Deontay Wilder has that sniper capability and he doesn't get tired. But Anthony Joshua has all the reason in the world to think he's going to beat Deontay Wilder. So anyway, Anthony Joshua versus Povetkin turned out to be a good fight. Shouldn't have happened. Just like Tony Bellew says from England, it should not have happened, right? Because the man was a two-time doper, and Tony Bellew even saying that, until somebody dies at the hands of a dope cheat or drug cheat, that's when we're going to focus. It's time to focus before that happens, because this is a contact sport. That's your boy Tony Bellew saying that. That's your boy Doma saying that, right? It probably shouldn't have happened. The fight between him and Deontay Wilder should not have been interrupted by a two-time doper. But just for entertainment value, that was a good fight. I might even go watch it again because I like both of these guys, how they work. Now, let me get to my other points because I'm just doing a long video. I told you why I didn't want to watch the fight because I didn't know who I was going to go for. Because of Povetkin's transgressions before with doping and because of Anthony Joshua's behavior and his team's behavior and entitlement when it came to the Deontay Wilder negotiations, and to a lesser extent the Joseph Parker negotiations. But, it's like it's a little bit too much entitlement because fans are going to watch him in England. And I don't like the fact that he just hasn't left England to do anything and hasn't been willing. It's like some people probably haven't left where they're going, where they're from, where their comfort zone, but are willing and have said, I'm going here. Like, for example, just in case people like, well, Deontay Wilder hasn't done this and that. Well, he's been to England already, beating up Audrey Harrelson. He was on his way to Russia to fight Povetkin, and he signed a contract to fight the Anthony Joshua in England. So he has no issues, right? And speaking of no issues, you see how quick it is to sign a contract? None of that happens there. None, right? But it's funny there how that can happen with Joshua. So those are my little issues there. I'm not gonna keep going and ranting on, but when you go watching a fight between two guys, it's like, well, because of both of these guys, hey, I don't know who I'm going for. At the beginning, I saw me going for Povetkin. Well, I'm not supposed to be going for Povetkin, right? I'm gonna be honest with you. But at the end of the day, like I told you, when I'm indifferent, then I go for the underdog. And Povetkin was smaller, older, and things like that. So I started going for Povetkin until Povetkin started beating him up. And then I saw myself start going for Joshua. Like, hold up. Wait, hold up now, Joshua, nothing to show him, man. Watch the line come out. Watch the line come out. Start going for Joshua. And then at the end, I was like, well, I'm going for Povetkin at the end, man. But get up, man, get up, hang in there, So it was one of those fights where I was just totally indifferent, and just was able to enjoy the fight. And at the end of the day, even though Joshua was probably behind or even on the cards before he knocked him out, let's make sure this is clear. He knocked him out. Okay? And if you look at both of them after the fight, Joshua looked like he ready to go take a photo shooting right after the fight, even after being hit several times. So kudos to both of these guys for the fight. Forget what happened before the fight and why I have issues or doping issues. Forget all of that for a second. That was a good night of boxing. Well, not really. This Oakley dude, I don't know what. I don't even want to go there. This Oakley dude, man, y'all better get the British titles. Are you kidding me? That was ridiculous. Man, anybody could be Oakley. Man, anyway, but I'm just saying, good fight. Not a good night of boxing. No, I don't agree with that. But I will say this, a good fight between Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin. It was a good fight. And it was one that you're going to watch more than one time. And so am I. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.